Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation podcast. And for all the censors out there that protect the community guidelines, we always tell you at the New Health Conversation that we never share anything that isn't published we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. So it proves it's safe. Number two, it's in the general, what am I looking for? Where it's available to everybody to look at online. There's no doubt about it. It's in the public domain. That's the word I was looking for. We don't make any claims. We don't need to because everything is backed by pure medical studies. And there's nothing to buy. And everything we do for our clients is we give them free information, free medical proof. That's the only thing that should matter to any of you, okay? So, hello everyone. I see some people are coming on right now. You're probably shocked. How'd she lose 60 pounds in 3 months? Is it fake? Is it real? Did we Photoshop it? We did none of those. This is absolutely backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. It's not a diet. It'll make every diet out there obsolete. If you stay on this podcast, there's no way you would ever want to do whatever diet you're on, whatever diet you're thinking about, whatever diet you did do, they're obsolete. And it's not my opinion. We have people like Harvard Medical School now saying, stop counting calories. We have people like the Medicare search for effective obesity treatments. Diet's not the answer. Another big study, why you shouldn't count calories. The science behind why diets don't work. We're going to get into those in just a moment. But I want to tell you that the reality, in 4 years, they're projecting now that 86% of you will be overweight or obese in 4 years, despite more diets than ever. Why in the world do you want diets? Why are you counting calories? Excuse me, when your body has no idea what a calorie even is. Does anyone know what a calorie is? Can you put it in? Good morning. Ophelia Gould. Hello. Night, Jackie. Hello, Roj Singh 8. I'm going to tell all of you something right now, and that is, this is the only podcast on all social media that at least I'm aware of where we have real medical proof. There's a lot of nice people in here. They're going to sell you an app. You're going to get recipes. You're going to get all that. I don't care what they're promoting. Unless they have peer-reviewed human trial published medical studies, it means nothing. Ask yourself something. If in 4 years they're saying that 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese and 50% of those people will be pre-diabetic, do you really think whatever diet you're on or thinking about is going to work? Now, here's the thing. You can lose weight on any diet. But what they're not telling you is that the weight you're losing is so dangerous because 25 to 40% of what you're losing on every diet is lean muscle mass. In this picture here, she lost 60 pounds in 3 months. She lost no water weight, and she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Notice she has no loose skin. Notice her face, notice her arms, notice her stomach. Now let's come back and look at someone else that in a month, the averages on this, to give you an idea, are at least 5 pounds a week, up to 10 pounds a week. Here's a 65-year-old man. Look at this, 40.8 pounds, 52.5 inches. That's in 30 days with no exercise. So how many of you would like to know how in the world this is even possible? He's 65 years old. And then look at his blood work. Look at his A1C. It went from 8.4 to 6.4. In case you don't know, ask a diabetic about how dramatic that is and how incredibly healthy that is to be able to move those numbers in those directions. So for the rest of you, hello, Ophelia and everybody else, can we get some taps on that screen to get some likes going here, okay? We need some likes. I need a little bit of love, right? So let me explain to you about this. Number one, we didn't invent it. Number two, there are no products to buy. This is based on food and a completely new way of eating. It was developed by, they're ranked the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They had done 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years of research, and they never found a diet that ever worked long term. So they said, okay, we're going to take what we've learned that doesn't work and figure out something that will work. And so it's really, the principles are this. The problem with any diet, the problem with everything you've been told, is that when you go on a diet, forget calories. The human body has no idea what calories are. This whole thing about calories in, calories out is complete and utter nonsense, hogwash, and we've got the medical proof to back it up. When you go on a diet, because see, here's the thing, your body you're alive because of 3 things, and one of them is not calories. Air, water, and nutrition. So what the researchers said, the problem with all diets, when you reduce the amount of food you're consuming, because that's what you're doing on a diet, you're reducing the amount of nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition to run all your organs, because your organs run on nutrition, they don't run on calories. Your organs don't know what a calorie is. The brain then slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau in these diets. That's why you're coming off these diets and you're gaining more weight than you lost. But the other thing it does to you when you lose lean muscle, it slows down your immune system. So here's what they did. This protocol is called R2M, race to maintenance. The whole key to this, one of them, is to get you to maintenance, to be able to, these pictures are 8 or 9 years old. They've kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So what they did, they said, we're going to pick the foods, meaning the researchers did this. And they put together 30% of the food that she bought or consumed came from her grocery store. And she got a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. No calorie counting on this. None. No, no, no. Only serving sizes. So if it was protein, how many ounces? If it was vegetables, is a third or half a cup. It's all laid out. You actually get the list that they use. Everything we're sharing with you, because we didn't create this, and there's nothing to buy. There are no products. We're sharing exactly what they did in these 10 published peer-reviewed human trial studies, which, by the way, look, visit the New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website to go to. We won't even contact if you go there. The only thing there is the medical proof, including these peer-reviewed human trial studies. These are not scientific papers. These are not clinical trials. These are human beings published. And if you get published in one of these big medical journals, there's nothing higher in medical investigation. For example, no drug ever gets approved unless it gets published in these big medical journals, just to let you know. So they figured out that only 30% of the food that she was going to consume came from the grocery store. The reason is our food is becoming all but nutritionally bankrupt. I know people come on and say, I eat clean and I eat healthy and I do organic. Nice try. But our food is becoming all but be kind. It's becoming nutritionally insufficient, okay? Another problem that you probably don't understand is over 40% of you have some kind of gut issue. And the problem with that is in the gut, where it breaks down the food into the nutrients and then disperses them out into your body, there's a term you probably never heard of before called malabsorption. So first of all, you're ingesting food that has less nutrition, certainly than it used to, but now you've gone on a diet and reduced the quantity more, which reduced the nutrition. And then once it gets in your body, because of malabsorption, you have more problem trying to get the less nutrients into the body, okay? So they picked foods with high levels of nutrition. That was their key. Only 30% from the grocery store. The other 70% of what she bought or you would purchase doesn't come from your grocery store. It comes from these other researchers who'd gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition but small amounts of food. Then they invented a new way of eating. I'm not kidding you. They got a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. It's called protein pacing. So here's what you would do. 5 days a week, you'd actually have 4 meals a day. Yes, you'd start breakfast from these, what the researchers have called the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint, and that's the only thing that you should care about, okay? Well, and obviously it has to taste okay, and it does. It tastes good, okay? Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these world's most perfect meals. You can't buy this from a grocery store. That's why if you follow some of these people, they're going to give you recipes, but they completely ignore the fact, nice try, even if it's organic, you're still woefully short of what you need in terms of the amount of nutrition to run your body efficiently and not lose lean muscle. Do you know, for example, in this like time-restricted eating, which is a big deal now, you fast for 16 hours, you eat for 8. Did you know that 25 to 40% of the weight you lose on that is your lean muscle mass? Did you know that? And when you come off that diet, you don't gain your lean muscle back. Well, you can gain it back. It takes you about 1 year per pound to regain your lean muscle mass. This is insanity what we're doing, okay? So people are losing weight on that thing initially. But then it all comes back and they're gaining it all back and they go, oh, that diet didn't work. Let's try another diet. So 5 days a week, she's having 4 meals a day, starting with the world's most perfect meal for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner. Everybody got that? Then 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. The diabetics on this know it had insulin spikes. Now hang on. Here's the big news. The big news is this was the most comprehensive weight loss nutrition health study ever done from a medical analysis. They looked at blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, muscle, body composition, enzymes. Here's what they found. Number one, this is a detox. It is not a diet. And they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, this was removing chemicals from your body that we're all storing inside our body. There's a new medical syndrome. It's called TDOS that you have and I have, and don't think you can avoid it, because you can't. The T is for the toxic chemicals we're storing in our fat cells. The D is for the deficiency of nutrition. O for being overweight. S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, that's me. I did discover it. But that's not why I'm telling you, okay? So in the studies, they proved this is removing chemicals from the body. Look at her stomach, everybody, on day 1. You can see it there. And then look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise allowed. Nobody in the pictures I'm showing you were allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, it's not that the research were against exercise, but if they would have let them exercise, then they would have never known, was it diet and exercise? Was it the protocol? Okay? The second thing they found on this that blew people away, the researchers, inflammation, which is the underlying cause of every disease that everybody suffers from. It came down 25% in a month. You've got to understand what I'm sharing with you now. No diet has ever produced anything like this, okay? Third, they were able to keep the weight off. This picture's 8 or 9 years old. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. Now, third, how do you do maintenance? It's so simple. Like this morning, I already had for my breakfast, I had the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. Now, why are they saying that? They're saying that unless you're on a doctor's prescription for iron or calcium deficiency, these foods from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, they have so much nutrition, you don't need any supplements. You don't need any supplements at all. And the sustainability is the thing that's so amazing. Now, look at this woman here. 35 pounds in 37 days. That's almost a pound a day. Not a week, a pound a day. And look at the change in her body composition. This is not a diet, everybody. Don't think it is. It's a detox. And she's shrinking because her body is detoxing the chemicals out of her body. Look at the people that don't stay on. It just floors me. They'd rather go follow some influencer with not one shred of medical evidence. Zero. I can't find anybody on social media with one shred of medical evidence, and yet we're going to have 86% of you overweight and obese in 4 years. I mean, this is crazy. And that's why 86% of America is going to be overweight, because they keep doing these protocols that have no bearing on anything. So anyway, who else? Sarah MacArthur, hello. Who would like to ask me a question about this? I can't believe that people they think these diets work. You've got to understand, diets are abject failures. They don't work, they can't work. I mean, when we're talking about, 60 pounds in 3 months with no loose skin, no exercise allowed, and people they're not curious about it, they'd rather go find some influencer that's going to sell you some recipes. Really? I mean, it's just, as a researcher, which I am, a nutritional researcher, it's just sad, because we're just so, in this case, don't short yourself of what your potential is, or what your future could be. Because diets, whatever diet you're on, they're miserable failures. And 2/3 of you are going to end up weighing more than you did before you started. So hello to Marie, hello Miss B, hello, see, how can I get more info on how to eat? I've been on GLP-1 for 3 months and want to switch. Okay, Sarah, how you can do it, Sarah, watch me. Go to Google and type in the new health conversation. Do you see it right there? Okay, click on that. It takes you to the website. Here's what I will tell you, all of you. There's nothing to buy on that website. The only thing there's medical proof, including number 1, is an exclusive podcast with the number 1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. Not these nice people you see online that have no credentials. Oh, I'm a health coach. I mean, even if they have credentials, where's the medical proof? Why are you entrusting your health to people that don't give you any medical proof at all? So the idea, Sarah, is you get to go to that website, look at the medical proof, and then we will not contact you, sir. But if you go there and like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. It says right here, look, in black, free coaching. It's free the whole time. There's no gimmicks. We're not charging you for an app and we'll save $400 on our yearly program. Don't buy any of that nonsense. Unless they can show you peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, run from it. It's nonsense. I don't care they're showing you a before and after picture. Where's the medical proof? If it was that good, where's their medical proof? They don't have any. Does that make sense to everybody? So, all right. So Sarah, did you hear me, or Marie, did you get to hear me explain about how this works and why it's not a diet and how it was developed by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world? That would not be me, although I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. So would you like to have me walk through it, Sarah? And also Marie, I'm gonna walk through it for you anyway because you're on here. Okay, let me give you the short version. The short version is the main reason why all diets are failing is because they're based on the wrong principle of counting calories, and the human body has no idea what a calorie is. All a diet is, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, but what they never tell you is you're also reducing nutrition. And when you reduce the nutrition in the body, the brain thinks you're starving to death, because you are from a nutritional standpoint. So how does it react? Well, it stops all access to the fuel in your fat cells and turns your muscles. We have the proof. 25 to 40% of the pounds you lose on any of these stupid diets, and especially the shots, is lean muscle mass. I'll show you that in just a moment, Sarah. But let me get through this. So the researchers put together food groups that the only principle behind them was really high levels of nutrition. So 30% of whatever you spent last month on food, take 30% of those dollars you're going to buy at the grocery store, but you're going to list nothing to do with calories, only to do with serving sizes of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Only 30%. The other 70% of the money you have left, you're going to buy from these other researchers who've gone around the world, Sarah, and everybody else, to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition that you can't buy in your store. So now they had the two foods that she was going to consume. Then they put together a completely new way of eating, and they got a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. It's called protein pacing. So 5 days a week, they let her have 4 meals a day. She started with these, what the researchers call the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner from the world's most perfect meals. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store, only these foods from around the world, but this time she ate them 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half for 2 hours. Diabetics on this, there were no insulin spikes, but they did this was the most comprehensive research ever done on diet, exercise, and nutrition. They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, body composition, muscles, enzymes, liver enzymes, massive amounts of data. Here's what they found. Number one, this is a detox. They absolutely proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, this was assisting the body in removing chemicals that were all storing inside our fat cells, okay? Number two, they proved for the first time in history, this brought down inflammation, which we all suffer from, by 25% in a month. Number three, they were able to, this picture is 8 or 9 years old, they've been able to maintain. Some of these studies were started back in 2012, 13 years ago, and they've been able to track the people, and people, the vast majority have kept all the weight off. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. Now, a couple things about it. Number one, you'll notice right above her head, visit the New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website to go to. Number two, you notice free coaching. Guess what? You're not buying anything. We don't have any products to sell. You're buying food from your grocery store, or you're buying food from these other researchers who had gone to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Does that make sense to everybody? The main thing I would invite or encourage any of you to do, so 2 days a week I'd be eating foods from around the world in this. Every day you'd be eating foods from around the world. Let me back up, sir. 5 days a week, you're starting from these foods from around the world. That's your breakfast. Lunch from your grocery store list, dinner from your grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner from those exotic foods from around the world. Then 2 days a week, only those exotic foods from around the world, nothing from your grocery store. That's called protein pacing. Okay, so I just want to be clear. But that's another reason why you'd want to have a coach. Plus, the other thing is that we do for you, Sarah, is the researchers, this is what they gave the patients in the studies, is called the Blueprint for Success. And each one of these yellows is a daily video from the researchers explaining to you why it's safe and what you're doing and the amounts. And they don't sell anything. They don't have any products. Now, why would they do this? Because they've spent 40 years of their lives coming up with looking for the silver bullet for obesity, and they found it, they proved it, and like I said, Sarah, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Also, something else that should excite all of you, this is the June 9th issue of Women's World magazine. The two women on the cover are mom and daughter. I coached them. The daughter's a nurse, 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who will be 81 in October, lost 104 pounds in a little over a year, and they both have kept it off now for 3 years. This is the cover story on Women's World. You can't get on the cover. There's no advertising on the cover of Women's World magazine. Now, they get on here because of these medical studies. You understand, sir, no one else has 10, they don't even have one peer-reviewed human trial study. This is the problem. And we keep thinking somehow that this new diet, whatever it is, now it's time-restricted eating, which is a bunch of nonsense. It's nothing more than a diet. And it's so ineffective that Journal of the American Medical Association, they did a big study on it. 3 months, lots of people, and here's what they concluded. The time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8, over the course of 3 months, the participants gained almost no benefit from it, lost only 2 to 3.5 pounds, and the weight they lost was lean muscle mass. See, this is the problem. We're seeing these people on social media, and they're showing you a before and after. Now, the people may have actually even lost the weight, but they gain it all back in 3 months. They probably lost weight the first week, and then they gained it all back. I mean, if anybody thinks it's working, Sarah, think about it. In 4 years, Johns Hopkins Medical School projects that 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. I mean, my God, how come we keep adding all these diets every year, Sarah? You understand, if any of these diets work, they'd have $1 trillion company. But we keep adding more and more diets all the time. And we're getting worse. In 1995 to 2025, the obesity rates in this country have doubled. Does that sound to any of you like diets are actually working? Now, let me read to you about the studies, sir, about the shots. So apparently there are people in the GLP-1s and they're thinking about it. We're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics and they're helping. So don't hear me say that. But let's look at the medical proof. This is the New England Journal of Medicine, sir. You can go look it up. Once weekly semaglutide in adults overweight and obese. It was a 68-week study. The weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds. And of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. This is the New England Journal of Medicine. So, Sarah, I hate to tell you, even if you lost weight on the GLP-1s, up to 40% is your lean muscle mass. And that slows down not only your metabolism, because if you come off the shots, everybody coming off, they're gaining as much as a half a pound a day, but it's also compromising your own immune system by losing lean muscle mass. Who's telling you this, sir? Who is being honest? And we're only reading from the study. 32 pounds in 68 weeks. She lost 21 pounds in a month. And Curtis, 65-year-old guy, 40 pounds and 52 inches in a month. Everybody, look at that. 40 pounds, and it's not fake. It's not Photoshop. What are we doing? Why are you're following these people? They're nice people. I don't want to disparage them, but they got no medical proof. There's nothing. It's hyperbole. It's like, oh, go on this, and we're gonna sell you some recipes, and you're gonna lose weight. Really? If that was even anywhere near true, how could you possibly have, in 4 years, 86% of America overweight and obese? We've now got 2.5 billion people worldwide overweight, and 1 billion of those are clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world, according to the experts. What in the world are we doing? We're pretending we're following these influences on social media. They don't have any medical proof at all. None. Zero. Why in the world are you following them? And why are you counting calories? Your body can't count a calorie. Your body doesn't care about calorie. Your calorie doesn't know what a calorie even is. Do any of you know what a calorie is? Can anybody put in the chat, what's a calorie? And why would you be counting something you don't even know what it is? Because the body doesn't know what it is. The body doesn't count calories. It's the craziest thing we've ever. I saw firsthand 2 girls started gaining back the muscle, loss remained gone. Yeah. And the muscle remained gone. Sienna, right. Yes, sir, you're all underinformed. That's why we urge you, listen, everybody, help us. Join by helping yourselves first. You know the thing on the airplane when the flight attendants come out and say, if there's a sudden depressurization, put your mask on first. That's what we're encouraging you to do because we offer free coaching. So many of the people have gone on this and then all of a sudden they're having these amazing results like her, and all of a sudden her sister or cousin or brother or someone she works with, oh my God, what did you do? So none of them they don't get paid to coach you. It's free, but someone coached us. We're creating a movement. We want to stop this madness of calorie counting, calories in, calories out, diet and exercise. Oh my God, does anybody really think it works? It doesn't. All I'm saying to you is if any of these diets worked, if any of them, what a market they would have. In 4 years, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight and obese, and 50% are going to be pre-diabetic. Look at how many diabetic medications there are. Go back 20 years ago. Some of you are old enough to remember. There weren't 20 different kinds of diabetic medication, and thank goodness we have them. This is completely, our kids, 50% are overweight, and a third of them are either pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic, which 35 years ago in children, type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes didn't exist. No cases, or almost no cases. I mean, when are we going to wake up, everybody? Yeah, my job, a lot of people think I'm too excited, over the top. Somebody needs to be. Somebody needs to say, what in the hell are we doing? We're the canaries in the coal mine. We're coming to you. There's no products to buy. We have nothing to sell you. This is based on food and a new way of eating, and you buy the food directly from your grocery store or directly from these researchers who went around the world for 20 years to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find these foods with this huge amount of nutrition, small amounts of food. And then the researchers, they created a new way of eating. And the timing really mattered until you lose the weight. It's called protein pacing. 5 days a week, you're going to have 4 meals a day. Exotic foods around the world, breakfast, lunch from the grocery, dinner from the grocery, fourth meal after dinner, these exotic foods. Now, what about maintenance, everybody? It's simple. My breakfast this morning with these exotic foods around the world. I'll have lunch in a few hours, and I'll have dinner tonight. And then every couple months, I'll do another 48-hour, it's called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not this ridiculous time-restricted eating, which is nothing more than a low-calorie diet. No matter what they're saying, it's nonsense, okay? Nonsense. Yeah, I get really animated for all of you. Somebody has to at least tell you, what in the world are you all doing? Seriously, Sarah, are you learning something already? Does it make sense to you? Do you understand, Sarah, the shot is nothing but a low-calorie diet, and we're not even against the shots. But let's talk about the medical. All it's doing is slowing down the food moving through your digestive tract. You're full longer. Code word, you get less food. But are they telling you you're getting less nutrition, which is causing your brain to use your muscles for fuel? Oh, God, dog dead. Easily 20 pounds. 20 pounds? Look at this. Curtis, 40 pounds in a month. He's 65 years old. 20 pounds. Hello? I mean, it's just so, I understand you're all unbelievably skeptical. I can see you coming on and then they're jumping off. They think it's photoshopped. This is real. And it's, my God, it's published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, proving it's safe, proving it's real for all of you. And what are you all doing? Keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, Cornish, Zone, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, none of it works. None of it works long-term. None of it, zero. And when you've got people like Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. They said, we've all been taught that losing weight is a simple matter of math. Cut calories 3,500 and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out, when it comes to weight loss, it's not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's exactly what these researchers who created this did. It wasn't me. There's nothing to buy, you understand? There's nothing to buy. You're going to get a grocery list to go to your grocery store, and the other 70% of what you're going to consume comes from, you can't buy at your grocery store. They come from Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. Huge amounts of nutrition, but in smaller quantities. I'm going to explain it to your dog's dad here in just a second. So let me, Sarah. Okay, Sarah. Let me give you an example. So some of it is some of this food that actually comes from these blue zones. You've probably heard of them, where people live to be 100 years old. I'll give you an example. So some of the nutrients that come from Mongolia, that you'd make it as a tea, or actually you could drink it cold. But they include what are called adaptogens, which aren't available in the United States. The only place in the world they're available is in this region in Mongolia. And what do? They massively lower stress in your body. Another one of the elements that comes from Tibet in the Himalayas, again, you can make it as a tea or you could drink it in water, and it lowers inflammation. Now, that's not just a sales claim, because in the medical studies, they proved inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. Think of it this way, Sarah. It's like these tremendous amounts of nutrition actually that used to be in the food in North America about 150 years ago. But some of the nutrients just aren't available. It's not like we can go back 150 years ago and we can get these elements that are in Mongolia or in Tibet or in South America. So it was really these wild, not wild, but incredible nutrients that some of these people who live and be 100 years old, that's what they take, and sure as heck, that's what I want to be taking. And their coaches will go over all that with you, Sarah. It's just a little bit, I'm not trying to be evasive, but again, I have a limited amount of time to capture people's attention. You know what I'm saying? The coaching's free. They'll spend as much time with you as you want. The coaching, Sarah, is free the whole time, not just the consultation, but all the way through as they teach you. So all of you can see right there. Play, respect, the courage to do the grit. Play, respect, the courage to do the grift. Don't miss a day. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but that's okay. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more, Sarah, okay? Who else would like, I saw the first hand, 2 co-workers started gaining back. Sienna, exactly. Yes, it's an emergency, you're absolutely right. So let me show all of you what you can go and see the medical proof, okay? The website is called, the movement's called the New Health Conversation. That's also the website. When you go there, there's nothing to buy. I've written 4 best-selling books, there's no books to buy. See the New Health Conversation? There's the website. The only thing on there is the medical proof, including, number 1, a podcast with the world's #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist, who he and his team, they published these, they got published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. Sarah, to tell you how important it is, one of the studies was published in the Obesity Journal, which is arguably the #1 journal for overweight, obese, whatever, right? It came out in late 2024. It was the #1 downloaded medical study on weight loss in the entire world, in the whole world. This is going to change everything. So any of my critics that want to come on and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm a grifter, etc., it's just nonsense. The reason it's nonsense, when you have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies published in these journals, it's what's called irrefutable evidence. In other words, the medical world, a medical doctor would look at it and say, okay, this is safe, I could recommend this to my patients. So there's nobody else on social media with peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, period, end of the story. And you all get an opportunity not just to go to the website, the New Health Conversation, as you see it there, but also to get free coaching. We got coached because 50% is what you're going to consume on this, and the other 50% is how you consume it. Does that make sense to everybody? I mean, look at this picture here, everybody. 60 pounds in 3 months. 60. But then look at this 65-year-old man, 40 pounds in a month, and look at his A1C. It went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. Now you can think we doctored those numbers. We didn't touch them. And you can see it in the medical studies. They have all the breakdown of all the medical things that happen, like fat went down 11%, muscle mass increased 6 to 9%, by the way, with no exercise at all, okay? Blood sugar went down 6.2%. The need for insulin dropped 41% in a month. Cholesterol down 15%. Bad cholesterol down 13%. Triglycerides came down 24%. Hunger came down 41% in a month. That was just some of the medical proof that, again, if you go to the website, it's in the peer-reviewed human trial studies. So it's not an advertising brochure. This could change your lives if you're willing to go there. And I understand you're skeptical, good, but your skepticism is only going to lead you down a dead-end road where in 4 years they estimate 86% of you will be overweight or obese. Would anybody like to argue about a diet you think works? If in 4 years 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese, does that sound like anything that works? This is the insanity of what we're doing. Sarah, you're exactly right. It's a crisis. Well, Johns Hopkins Medical School, I have the study right here. Right here. Johns Hopkins Medical School, everybody. This isn't me saying this. Study predicts obesity apocalypse in 4 years. We estimate 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese in 4 years. They went on to say by 2048, we estimate all American adults will become overweight or obese if the current trend continues. So when do you wake up? Do we have to get to 100% overweight and obese before we wake up and say, wait a minute, you know what? Diets aren't working. Plus, think of it this way. If any of these diets worked, any of these schemes that you're on, they'd have $1 trillion company. But what do we keep doing? We keep adding more diets every year, and the outcomes are always the same. I'll give you another example. Here's the Journal of the American Medical Association, a 12-month study where they looked at 48 different studies, 7,286 people. The title, Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs in Overweight and Obese Adults. They named all the major diets: keto, paleo, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, the Cornish diet, the zone diet, eat weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Scarsdale, Atkins, you name it. The results after 12 months are pitiful. On some of the diets, people in a year only lost 11 pounds. And the most amount of weight loss on any diet in a year was 16 pounds. And right in the study, 25 to 40% of what people lost was lean muscle mass. And of course, they gained it all back. Do you understand when you're going on these diets, they're making you unhealthy? Because when you lose lean muscle mass, not only does your body slow down your metabolism, it slows down your own immune system. What are we doing? What are we doing? Calories in, calories out. Get that out of your vocabulary. Too much overweight, dog dad. Absolutely. I tried a lot of stuff. Nothing seemed to work. Dog dad, so you saw the website to go to, right? Let me show you again. Can you read it there? The New Health Conversation. Can you see that? That's the website you go to. We won't contact you if you go there, dog dad, but you get a free coach. You decide on that, okay? Sarah, amazing. I agree. So Sarah, does it make logical sense to you? Now, Sarah, understand, all of you, I want you to understand, okay? We don't have a company, we don't sell any products. You buy either directly from your grocery store or you buy directly from these other researchers who went around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find these foods with huge amounts of nutrition but small amounts of food. And then because of that, it wasn't about how much food you ate, it was about how much nutrition you could get. That's the principle of this whole thing. And it's not a diet, it's a detox. Did you all see that 3 months ago when they said they're finding microplastics in our brains and in our coronary arteries? Well, guess what else they're finding inside of us? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon. Any of you ever heard the term obesogens? Any of you? Let me bring you up to speed on this. So this is the Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology. This is them saying that, not me. Listen to this. They reported that the rise in the incidence of obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrial chemicals, and these chemicals have a name, they're called obesogens. They went on to say, simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds in soy, artificial hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed into produce. They act in a variety of ways mimicking human hormones, such as estrogen, are you listening, ladies? Blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, are you listening, men? And essentially reprogram us to gain weight. What are you doing about obesogens, everybody? Because it ain't paleo, it ain't keto, it ain't time-restricted eating. They've never removed a gram of toxins of these obesogens from our body till now. The main reason to do this is detox, is to get these damn obesogens, or as much as possible, out of your body. Because you're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals every damn day, whether you know it or not. We're breathing in the fumes from the coal-fired power plants from China from 2 weeks ago. The lithium, the mercury, the cadmium. Yes, you are. Wake up. You think you're going to defeat this by counting calories? Really? God love you. Go for it. Do you understand this is the first time in history we have medical proof they've cracked the code on obesity, on diets and health? This is a health system. The weight loss is a throw-in. It's like that's a bonus for all of you. And you all get to go see the medical proof. Don't believe me. Look, see right above your head, visit the New Health Conversation. Visit the New Health Conversation. And if you go there and like what you see, you get a free coach. These people are trying to sell you apps with with recipes. And people are spending thousands of dollars from what I can see. What? And there's no medical proof. It's just a before and after picture. Yeah, we're showing you before and afters, but They're from it's backed up in these published peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Does everyone understand what a peer-reviewed human trial study is and why it's such a big deal? It's not a clinical study. It's not a scientific paper. It's the highest scrutiny there is in medical investigation. No drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. How come these other influences, why don't they have any studies? Huh? Did you ever ask it? Plus, Alan speak with so much healthy mental clarity. Plus, oh, thank you very much. Again, for the rest of you, the BS with apps, waste of, yeah, exactly, Dad 7. Tired. Listen, do you understand, everybody? I don't know how to do it any better, okay? All of you. We're here for all of you. Do you have anybody else fighting so hard for you? We have no products to sell. You're buying food, but you're learning a new way of eating that was developed, wait a minute, it was developed not by us, by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world, not some nice person on Facebook that's going to show you, oh, here's our app, and oh, you get $300 off if you order today. It's like a blue light special. Come on. Really, everybody? Come on. Do you want what more do you want than real medical proof? What more can we provide to you than absolute, the only program, the only one in the world, published in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world, they'd spent 40 years to develop this, 100 studies, thousands of people, and they never found a diet that ever worked long term. Again, am I just dumb? Am I not explaining it correctly? If you don't believe me, go to Barnes & Noble. It's Labor Day in the United States. If you have the day off, go to Barnes & Noble. Look at how many diets there are. Why do we continue to add diets every year? If any of these diets worked, do you understand none of them worked long term? That's why 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese in 4 years. Yeah, I'm sounding the alarm. But the majority of you will go back to keto, paleo, Mediterranean, the shots, whatever it is. And we're not even against the shots. But I read before from the shots. I mean, this is the New England Journal of Medicine, a 68-week study, a year and 4 months on semaglutide. And we're not against the shots. They're helping diabetics and people morbidly obese. But what are the results? What are the medical results? After 68 weeks, the weight loss was 32 pounds. And of the 32 pounds they lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. And they said here, these results are clinically relevant reductions in body weight. Wait a minute, she lost 21 pounds in a month. And a 65-year-old guy loses 40 pounds in 30 days? Which one would you choose if you knew it existed? Does this make sense to everybody? Come on, also, we only have 72 likes. Can we get some taps on the screen? Who else on all of social media is giving you real medical facts? Not hyperbole. Not, well, let's buy this liver cleanser, or let's buy this, we'll give you some more calcium or magnesium. I mean, people coming on and making these claims, telling you about, we'll eat this and that. And that. Really, where's your medical proof? They don't have any. And I see them. Medical doctors, chiropractors, people, all these titles after their name, and they're writing on whiteboards. But that's all nonsense. It doesn't mean anything without a peer-reviewed human trial study. It doesn't mean anything. And you're all buying into it. I mean, how else do you justify that from 1995 to 2025, 30 years, the obesity rates in the United States have doubled? In 1964, we had about 10 to 15% of the population overweight or obese. And now they're saying in 4 more years, 86, it's almost a 600-fold increase in that time frame from 1960, what would that be? 66 years. I mean, am I making any sense at all? Or do all of you still think you're so brainwashed by calories in, calories out? Your trainer, they're nice people, your dietitian, your nutritionist, your doctor. They don't have a solution. Do you get it? They don't have a solution. If they did, they'd have $1 trillion company. Yeah, I'm yelling. For all of you. Who is standing up for you? Who's taking on the whole damn internet? Except for us. But what we have that nobody else does, we have medical proof. They don't. They have stories. You're all following these people going on these diets thinking you're going to lose weight and keep it off. You'll lose weight initially on any diet. But I promise you, based on the medical proof, 25 to 40% of the pounds you're losing is your lean muscle, which slows down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back. But you probably didn't know when you lose lean muscle, you know what else it does to you? It slows down your own immune system. Now, sadly, I can address this. My younger brother was diagnosed with kidney cancer in 2011, 14 years ago. My brother was 6'4". In the 8 months from the time he had surgery, he did radiation, he did chemo. When he passed away, he weighed 115 pounds. I saw him waste away. It's so sad. I could carry him in my arms. See, what happens in cancer is one of the things, they have a hard time eating, right? So, but the weight that they're losing is primarily lean muscle mass, which slows down. Talk to any oncologist, they'll tell you the same thing. So to a lesser degree, when you're going on a diet, you're doing something called catabolic metabolism. You probably didn't know that. What happens when the brain senses there's not enough nutrition, not calories. The brain has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't give a damn about a calorie. You do because of an advertising ploy, right? Oh, we're going to show you it's calorie reduction. No, it's not. That's just nonsense. The human body has no idea what a calorie even is. All you're doing on a diet is you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, and they never tell you you're reducing the amount of nutrition. When your brain senses there's not enough nutrition, it will absolutely prevent you from accessing the fuel inside your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. Another huge myth, everybody. There's no such thing as burning fat on a diet or exercise. That is a complete lie. Excuse me, you're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and they can expand or contract over your lifetime. You look at his stomach on day 1, you look at his stomach on day 30. That's a 65-year-old man with no exercise. Look how much his stomach went down because he detoxed his body. So this protocol, in conjunction with his body, began to help get the chemicals out of the fat cells. See, as you ingest the chemical, the body has no choice. It takes the chemical and stuffs it inside what's called your visceral fat. Your visceral fat, not to get too technical, is the fat around your organs. You all complain to us about it's not just how much weight you've gained, but how much fat you have in your body. Can I get a yes? Can somebody agree with me on that? Is that not true? Aren't you don't understand it? How come I have so much fat? Because your body's trying to protect you. And how are you going to reduce that fat? If you can't detox your body, good luck. You're not. That's why people end up with all that loose skin. I'm going to show you right now. Look at this, everybody. This great lady, 200 pounds in a year. 200. She's kept. Look at her before and after picture. That's not photoshopped. There's no surgery. Are you trying to tell me any diet has ever produced anything like that? What would it be? Or you look at Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at her butt. Look at her whole body shrank. Now, if you think it's photoshopped, then you're on the wrong podcast. Then go follow these followers with no medical proof, none, zero medical proof. Why would you entrust your health to opinions? Really, why? Why? Would you do that for any other thing in your life? And you've got to understand now, we know that weight, according to Harvard Medical School, that obesity leads to 40 known diseases. I mean, that's why Johns Hopkins, they're calling it, study predicts obesity apocalypse in 4 years. 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese, according to Johns Hopkins Medical School. Does that sound to you like diets are working? Would anybody like to, have a conversation with me, which I'm more than willing to have? Fast food chains are killing. Yeah, they are. L3 man, bro, what are you talking about? How did she do it? L3 man. Okay, I promise I'm going to explain it to everybody here in just a moment. Yes. Well, there's a new term, Sarah. All of you need to listen to this. Yes. She's saying, is there such a thing as being overweight due to malnutrition? Yes, Mel, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Sarah, okay, so there's a new term. You can all look it up. It's called normal weight obesity. And what it means is the way you look on the outside has nothing to do with the way you look on the inside. And here's what we know based on the science. And then I promise L3 man, I'm going to explain how she did it. Effectively, what's happening to everybody is that, number one, our food, whether you know it or not, even if it's organic, is becoming all but I'll be kind, nutritionally insufficient, meaning the amount of nutrition in the food has really decreased. You can look it up yourself. As a matter of fact, I think I have the study. Yeah, here it is. Over the last 25 years, scientific studies indicate that the nutritional value of foods has decreased between 20 and 50%. So even though you think you're eating healthy, you're getting less nutrients in the food you're consuming. So let's start with that problem. The second problem is, because of lack of nutrition, many of you suffer from gut issues. And those gut issues cause something called malabsorption. That's a fancy term meaning, okay, you're ingesting the food, you're getting the nutrients, which we know are way less than they were, but now the body, instead of having like 100% conversion of those nutrients, it's compromised. That's what malabsorption means. So we have people now that want to gain weight. They can't gain weight no matter what they do because they have malabsorption. So you got to understand we've painted ourselves into a corner. This breaks that chain because it's a detox. And we see it, well, I can not just talk. One of the studies published in Nature Communications, and if you go to the website right there, visit the New Health Conversation, the medical studies are there for you to see. But this one's titled Gut Microbiome Remodeling and Metabolic Profile Improves Drastically in Response to Protein Pacing and Intermittent Nutritional Fasting. So one of the things that was happening to all these people, they were healing their guts, which increased the amount of nutrition that they could absorb. But also, when you find out about this, only 30% of the food that they consumed was organic from your grocery store, from sources, I don't care where you live in the world. The key to this was that the researchers found other researchers who'd gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition that you just can't get it, even organic, right? Okay, so let's back up. The whole premise behind this and the reason that people were, like, she really lost. Now, the other thing you need to know about her, or all of them, they did extensive medical evaluations. They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, muscle analysis, liver enzymes, etc. And what they found was that she lost no water weight, and with no exercise, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, despite losing 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days. But look at her stomach on day 1, look at her stomach on day 30. That's a result of the detox. So the researchers, there was one principle that they came with. And they said, what we need to do is find foods with an only criteria is high levels of nutrition. So they put together a grocery list. So LMN3, now I'm going to explain it to you. And that grocery list you would physically have, you'd take to your grocery store, but it has nothing to do with calorie counting. They don't want you counting calories. None of these people counted calories. It was based on serving sizes of what? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, okay? You literally get the list. It would tell you if it's a protein, how many ounces. If it was vegetables, is it a third or half a cup? It's all laid out. You actually get the same list that they used in the medical studies, but only 30%. So whatever you spent last month, take 30% of those dollars, you're going to shop at your grocery store. The other 70% of the dollars you have left go to other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but smaller quantities of food. Then they took these combinations of food based on nutrition and created a completely new way of eating. Until she lost her weight, she was having 4 meals a day, 5 days a week. That's called protein pacing. Now it's so advanced, they got a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of this new way of eating that you all would learn if you do this, right? So 5 days a week, she started with what the researchers have called the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint of view. There's so much nutrition in these foods from around the world, unless you're on a doctor's prescription for low iron or low calcium, you need no other supplements, no other supplements. And some of these nutrients come from areas of the world called blue zones, where people live to be 100 years old, okay? So 30% of the food that you would buy, you'd buy from a grocery store. The other 70, by the way, you buy nothing from us. The researchers who did this, they don't have a company, they don't sell anything, they're scientists, right? This is what they use to produce these results. So 5 days a week, she started with the world's most perfect meal, then lunch from the grocery store list that you would get, dinner from the grocery list, and a 4th meal after dinner. And it was important that it was 4 meals. It was critically important. So because they did other things. They had breakfast, they skipped lunch and had dinner. That didn't work. They had skipped breakfast, have lunch and dinner. That didn't work. It was the 4 meals spread out. That was the most efficient way for the body to process the nutrition. You got it? Then 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store at all, only the world's most perfect meals. But this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, if you're diabetic, don't panic. There were no insulin spikes. Now, let's look at the medical. What else did they see? You're all excited about the weight. I understand. It's the least important thing. We know that's going to happen. That's not even up for debate. What they did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis. They did body composition. They did lean muscle. They measured enzymes. I mean, it was a major battery of tests. These people came in every single week. to get tested, right? And what they found was the number one thing this was doing was helping the body get rid of the chemicals that were stored in our fat cells. They're called obesogens. You can look it up. The second thing that this did that no diet has ever produced, it lowered inflammation by 25%, that every one of you, including me, suffer from inflammation, okay? It's not up for debate. It's the underlying cause of every disease out there according to the medical world, and yet we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, and preventing any medical diseases. Don't hear me say that. All we're quoting to you is what's in the published, peer-reviewed human trial studies, which are in the public domain, but easily they're on the website for you all to see for free. In other words, you can go to the website, you can click on there. There's also an interview with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He's voted number one, okay? So maybe you want to, I don't want you to believe me. It's not my research, but we're sharing the research with you, right? The third thing that's so significant about this is maintenance. That picture's, they lost the weight 8 or 9 years ago. They've kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Do you know most women on this lose a whole dress size in the first 7 days? Let me repeat that, ladies. Most women lose a whole dress size in 7 days, and no one was allowed to exercise. Now, the research is when it gets exercise, but had they let them exercise, and you say, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. They wore Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. Now, she's not the only one. Look at Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. That's almost a pound a day. And then look at April, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. Now you can think it's Photoshop. If you do, you're on the wrong podcast. Then go follow these influencers that don't give you one scintilla of medical proof, okay? And then let's take a look at Curtis, 40 pounds and 52 inches in a month. But look at his blood work. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Ask diabetics about how dramatic that is. And look at his triglycerides. They were 242. My God, they dropped to 124 in a month. And then he's not the only one. Andy, 45 pounds, 60 inches. Now he's a lot younger. But look at his A1C from 7.9 to 6.2. Bad cholesterol, 120 to 59. And then Christopher, now look, it's only 29 days, 43.7 pounds. In fairness to him, in 30 days, he lost about 36 pounds. But again, look at his triglycerides, 169 to 58, his bad cholesterol, 105 to 68, and look at his blood pressure, 133 over 66, dropped to 126 over 73. That's in 29 days in this case. Now, you all can, if you want, the website is free to go there. Go to Google, type in the new health. It's the new, by the way, the new health conversation. Don't type in new health conversation, it won't come up. You click on there, there's the medical website. There's nothing to buy on that website. We will not contact you if you go there. But if you like what you see, you get to choose. And you can scroll down and get a free coach. How much is the coaching? Free. What's the cost of the coaching? Zero. How much is the consultation? Zero. We all got coached. I understand this sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? What's the shoe? There's no other shoe. That's it. And the other part I didn't even tell you. So remember, if you were listening, 30% of what you would consume, you buy at your grocery store, okay? The other 70% of what you spent last month on groceries, you buy from these researchers. They will give you, of the 70% you're spending, 100% of your money back guarantee in the first 30 days. I'm not kidding you. We don't sell you anything because we're not doing it, but they're doing it. Because, nothing's 100%. But it's so rare. You think she wants a refund after losing 21 pounds in 30 days? And again, I would be foolish to say that anything is 100%. That's just not true. But I'll tell you what, this is probably 99.9%. It's so rare when anybody wants a refund because the results are so quick and so dramatic and they're so sustainable. Like I said, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I mean, I'd love for any, so basically all I need to do is eat more salad and healthy. No, you can't do it with regular food, L3 man. You missed the point. So L3, here's what I would suggest you do. If you want, go to that website, The New Health Conversation, look at the medical proof, you'll get a much better understanding. No, what you're saying there, that's what they've already studied over 40 years. These researchers who created this did 100 studies on thousands of people on exactly very, very similar things to what you're suggesting right there. It's not working, do you understand? L3. And what you're talking about there has no impact on removing chemicals from your body. So you get free information. You can go to the website or not and see the medical proof and then have a discussion with one of the coaches for free. I mean, again, this is not some gimmick, okay? Let's see, glad I can lose weight, but fix my gut and my thyroid, my overall health. This is exciting. Sarah, we have people with no thyroids at all that are losing tremendous, we have, hypothyroidism and goiter and whatever. But we have the proof that this is healing the gut. It's not none of it is an opinion. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, well, this helps your gut health. Yeah, and by the way, there's a huge study published in Nature Communications, one of the top 1 or 2 medical journals in the world, proving that everything I'm telling you works. Because most people that need to lose weight have other issues going on, like bad gut issues or hypertension or blood pressure or blood sugar, whatever it might be. Ruth said hi. Hello, everybody. Who else would like to ask me a question? Sarah, I'm glad you're enjoying this, and I really encourage you to go there and take a look. And also, Lance Miller, our foods. Yes, Lance, you're 1,000,000% right. Lance, did you hear? That's why they went. Well, they didn't, but these other researchers had gone to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods, not just that they had large amounts of nutrition, but no herbicides, no pesticides, no anything, just naturally grown. And some of these nutrients, I'd say a lot of these nutrients, aren't even available in the United States. It's not a matter, are you getting enough of the nutrient? It just simply doesn't even exist. Or in Great Britain or other parts of the world, because these nutrients came from these very specific areas. Some of them are blue zones where people are living to be 100 years old. So you're very astute in your analysis, Lance. But the reason that the researchers only use 30% of the food from your grocery store was for the reason that the nutritional values of our food, I don't care where you're getting it, is way less than it was, say, 100 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 20 years ago. So we've created this huge amounts of volume of food, but the nutritional, I read that before. Right here, the studies over the last 25 years, scientific studies proved that the nutritional value of food has decreased anywhere from 20 to 50%. I'll give you an example. Spinach. Cornell University did an analysis on the iron levels in spinach from 1957 to the year 2010, I believe it was. And they estimate that in order to equal the same amount of nutrition, a bowl of spinach in 2010 compared to a bowl of spinach in 1957, you'd have to eat around 20 bowls of spinach today. But it's broccoli, it's Brussels sprouts, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. So what we've done, because of lack of nutrition, in case you didn't know, your buddy has no idea what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. It doesn't give a damn about a calorie. The only thing it cares about is nutrition. So when you don't have enough nutrition, that's why you're so hungry. That's why you're never really full. And then, so now we end up snacking to fill in those temporary gaps. Our great-grandparents, there were no snacking. There were no vending machines. They had breakfast at, let's say, 6 a.m. They had lunch at noon, and they had supper or dinner, whatever they call it, at 6 o'clock at night. But as the food became more convenient, we sacrifice what? The only reason you eat food in the first place. I mean, I know it tastes good, but the only reason to consume food is not because of the calories in or not in food, but in the amount of nutrition. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay, awakening the soul, absolutely. 126 pounds, 57 kilograms, at 5'8". You're saying NC Archangel, you're saying you weigh 57 kilos or 126, 5'8". Yeah, that's wonderful. But what you're not doing is detoxing your body, okay? Yes, it does make sense. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Okay, everybody. There are a lot of people now that want to know, how did they do this? So who is it? Awakening just came on. All right, so let's review, everybody. Don't get bored if you're already on. This may sink in just a little bit more. So hopefully, L3Man, you're still listening. All right, so let me go slowly. The people who invented this had done 100 studies on human beings over 40 years. They're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. Okay? That is not me. It is not my research. Okay? What they concluded after 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years, there was never a diet out there. I don't care whether you ate healthy, you did organic, you did keto, you did paleo, you did Mediterranean. They looked at them all. Never did people ever, not only couldn't they keep the weight off, but 2/3 of people actually ended up gaining more weight than they lost. And so the first principle they realized, that all the diets centered around one key principle, and that was counting calories, calories in, calories out. The first problem is, can anybody even give me the definition of a calorie? In over 1,000 podcasts I've done in the last year and a half, I've had 12 people give me the actual technical definition of a calorie. The reason I point that out to you, I didn't know what a calorie was 25 years ago. So you're counting calories and yet you have no idea what a calorie actually is. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. So let's start with that. So why would you go on a protocol where you're counting calories thinking that somehow that influences your weight because of your brain? Your brain goes, if you said to your brain, how many calories do I need to go? What's a calorie? Okay? So the researchers said that the fallacy was that really what a diet was reducing the quantity of food you were consuming. Never did they tell you you're reducing the amount of nutrition. When your brain senses not enough nutrition, which is what runs all your organs, your brain, your heart, your lungs, your kidney, your liver, your spleen, it doesn't run on calories, it runs on nutrition. Got that, everybody? So the key was, they said, if we're going to figure out how to get the body back into balance and get the weight off, we've got to be in a position where we give you less quantity of food, but find foods with high levels of nutrition. So even though you were getting less food by quantity, you were actually getting more nutrition. So here's exactly what they did. So this is the part I want you all to understand. Only 30% of the food that they gave to her, that they would give to you, is a food list that the researchers developed of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, all organic, no calorie amounts, only serving sizes. So for you to, like L3Man, for you to go out on your own and try and figure this out, well, I'm not saying you couldn't, but they already did it. That's what they did. And you've got to understand, we have the medical proof to back up everything I'm sharing with you, right? So 30% of what you would spend dollar-wise, you buy from your grocery store. 70% of the money you have left pretty much pays for these exotic foods from around the world from these other researchers. See, we don't sell you anything. The people who invented this, they don't sell you anything. So 30% of your money goes to the grocery store and 70% to these other researchers who had gone for 20 years around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, and New Zealand to do what? To find foods with the highest amount of nutrition and the least amount of food that you can't get from Kansas or Nebraska or Illinois, with all due respect, or Pennsylvania or in England or in Wales or in Madrid or wherever you want to be in the world. It's just we've figured out a way to give you more and more quantity of food, but it has less and less nutrition, okay? So they now had the foods. And then based on this new model, which is based not on calorie counting, on serving sizes and about nutritional density, they let her have 5 days a week. She had 4 meals a day. She started with these, the researchers call these foods from around the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. So just so you all know, if you go on this, unless you're on a doctor's prescription for iron or calcium deficiency, you need no other supplements, okay? So breakfast from the world's most perfect meals, lunch from your grocery store list that you have, dinner, third meal from your grocery, but a fourth meal after dinner from these world's most perfect meals. It was really important that it was 4 meals a day. So much so that they proved to the patent office, U.S. Patent Office, they got a registered trademark of this new way of eating called protein pacing. Notice the word pacing. That was really important because they tried things like, oh, skip breakfast and do lunch and dinner. That didn't work. Then they did breakfast, skip lunch, and do dinner. Then they did one meal, middle, none of it worked. It was the timing, the spacing, because the body could use the nutrition most efficiently, so you never had a drop in nutrition. That was the key. That's why the pacing mattered, all right? It's like if you're running a marathon, your pace kind of matters, okay? Now, 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store. Only these exotic foods from around the world are the world's most perfect meals. But this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half to 2 hours. The diabetics on this, no one had insulin spikes. Now, let's look at the medical proof. That, by the way, you can see it on the website. The studies, the peer-reviewed studies, the published studies are on the website for you to see. No hype. You can't edit a peer-reviewed human trial published study. It's not possible. So what did they find? By the way, this was the most extensive research they'd ever done in 40 years. They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis. They measured inflammation, blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, etc. Let's start first with the detox aspect of this, because this first and foremost is a detox. So by blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved this was removing chemicals stored inside your fat cells. Look at her stomach on day 1, everybody. Look at her stomach on day 30. That was with no exercise. No one was allowed to exercise in the studies. They wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Why? Because if we would have had diet and exercise, you would have said, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. No exercise at all. She lost no water weight because they measured it, and she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. And certainly they're not against exercise, okay? You could go over that with your coaches. The coaching's free, by the way, okay? So you're doing something, it's so out of the realm of what you're used to, right? In addition to the detox portion, for the first time ever in history, they measured inflammation, which you and me and every person suffers from. It's the underlying cause of every disease out there. It came down 25% in a month. 25% in a month. Hunger came down 40% in a month. Do you know most women in this lose a whole dress size in 7 days? Let me repeat that. Most women lose a whole dress size in 7 days. Men, you're going to lose 2 to 4 inches off your waist in the first week. That's with no exercise. I know see, again, it's so far out of bounds from what you're used to. You're thinking I'm making things up. I'm not making anything up. And you can go see the medical proof. It's right there. Thirdly, the need for insulin in the diabetics came down by 41% in a month, so much so that those on medication, their doctors had to cut their meds by 50% in a month. There's nothing, this is, I don't know what, this is a health system. It's not a diet. And obviously the other thing that was huge is they've been able to maintain it. This picture's 8 or 9 years old, but I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, here's what I would invite you to do, and I'm inviting you. Right above our head, it says, visit the New Health Conversation. We set up a free medical website. Now, the reason we did it is we didn't want you to think, like, if you go to that website, we're going to call you, because we're not going to call you. The medical evidence there is so overwhelming that if you go there and you decide not to get a free coach, then there's nothing more we could say to you, because we're not here to convince you. We're not here to sell you. We're here to educate you. And again, I come back to this. Let me just ask you a question. If Johns Hopkins Medical School, I have it right here, study predicts obesity apocalypse in 4 years, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 4 years. Does that sound to you like whatever diet you're on now is going to work long term? I wish it would, but the evidence is overwhelming that 2/3 of you right now on whatever diet you're on, you're going to gain more weight than you lost. 2/3 of you. What influence can anybody give me, Sarah or Leslie or anybody, can you tell me, or any of you, any influencer that you're following on social media that's showing you one shred of real medical proof? I'm not talking about a scientific paper. I'm not talking about a clinical study on mice or rats or chickens or chimpanzees. I'm talking about on human beings, published. It's got to be published in these big medical journals. Who would it be? I'm not aware of anybody that I've seen, and I'm pretty active on social media because I'm always looking at what are these people talking about. At the end of the day, they're all basically telling you that the way to lose weight is calorie deficit, calories in, calories out. It's so crazy because the human body cannot count calories. It doesn't even know what a calorie is. And it's not just me saying that. Let me read to you from someone. Here's Medicare. Okay, this is kind of a summary. I've got a whole bunch of other studies. But let me just read to you what Medicare is saying about diets. The title of the study, this is Medicare. This isn't me saying this, right? Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed long-term studies of the outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. That's Medicare telling you 2/3 of you are going to weigh more than if you're on a conventional diet. This is not a diet. It took these researchers 40 years, 100 studies to figure out diets don't work. Do you get it, everybody? Do you get it? There's no plan like, oh, I'm going to do organic and eat clean and I'm going to exercise 10,000 steps. It doesn't work. Do you understand? It doesn't work. There's no evidence to that effect. As a matter of fact, let me read to you what the experts are saying about calorie counting. Listen to this. The deadly delusion of calorie counting. Abandoned now. Calories in, calories out. Calories in, calories out is a dangerous fraud. The body completely ignores calories, which are merely a lab-invented unit of energy with no corresponding biological sensor or mechanism. Instead, the body craves essential air, water, and nutrition to function, where hunger acts as a signal for nutrient deficiencies, not calorie deficiencies, rendering calorie tracking not just ineffective, but a harmful distraction that perpetuates obesity cycles and dieting failures. I mean, do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand? Yes, you're going to lose weight on any of these diets, but it's the most unhealthy kind of weight you could ever lose. You're losing your lean muscle, which slows down your metabolism and you gain all the weight back. But way worse than that, you're slowing down your own immune system. You are. You're making yourself unhealthy by being on these diets. And again, we've got the medical proof now on the shots. And I'm not against the shots. They're helping diabetics or people who are morbidly obese. But let's look at the real, how much weight are they really losing on the shot? New England Journal of Medicine. Once weekly semaglutide in adults, overweight adults. And you can go look this up. It's in the public domain. The New England Journal of Medicine, arguably the #1 medical journal in the world. 68-week study, a year and 4 months. Weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds. And of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. And they went on to say this weight loss is clinically relevant reduction in body weight. 32 pounds in 60, wait a minute, she lost 21 pounds in a month. And Curtis, a 65-year-old man, 40 pounds in a month. And Andy, 45 pounds in 30 days. And Christopher here, 43 pounds, but that was 29 days. To be fair to him, in 30 days, he lost about 46 pounds. I mean, what do you think? Unless we're lying to you. But you got to understand, when you're, that's the thing. Like, you can't hide. If it's published in the New England Journal of Medicine, it's already been vetted. It's already been scrutinized. Those were the actual results. And they're telling you it's good because they don't know what else to do. What is the shot, everybody? It's a low-calorie diet. And the insanity, it has nothing to do with calories. It's a low-nutrition diet. Because what the shots do, and the reason they work, the food moves more slowly through your digestive tract, you're full longer, you eat less food. But what else are you eating less of, everybody? Nutrition. Am I making any sense that all of you just all think I'm crazy? Maybe I am crazy. All I know is we're helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people, despite the fact that we have really low turnouts. But we're building an audience. We're building it. And if there's one person on here that we can help, then it's worth it. Oh, let's see. Can you give some examples of the items that have to use the detox? Oh, L3, man, I'm just seeing that now. I apologize. So L3, let me explain something to you. Last night when you went to sleep, everybody on here, as long as you didn't eat too late at night, your body, what it does, when you go to sleep, it slows down your digestion, okay? And every night your body creates a process, it's called autophagy, and your body detoxes. Every night it gets rid of the dead cells. The simplest way to explain it to you is in the 48 hours that you're doing only these exotic foods around the world, you're getting really small amounts of food with large amounts of nutrition. So when you ingest these, there's almost no interaction with your digestive tract at all. With digestion. And you got to understand they proved it. So what was happening is they were able to turn on this autophagy mechanism that heretofore, the only way you could do it is when you went to sleep at night. I don't know if you know much about bodybuilders, but for example, when they're power lifters, after they work out, they literally have to go to sleep because it's only when you're sleeping that you produce what's called growth hormone to rebuild things. Well, in essence, the simplest way to think about it is they were able to turn on the autophagy or the detox mechanism while people were awake, but they have the medical proof to back it up. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this is assisting. It's the body detoxing you, let's be clear. It's not this protocol that detoxes you. This protocol allows you to detox. And that's the simplest way that I can explain it to you. It's a little more complicated than that. There are different pathways for detox. I don't want to get into all that, it'll be medical mumbo jumbo that you don't need to know. All you need to know is that they have the medical proof that this is removing toxins from the body. And it's medically proven, and it's published in the medical studies. So hopefully that helps you. I'm sorry I missed your, oh, Paula Rand, I see. That's actually your name. Okay. So L3 man, I asked you a question. Okay. So I hope that answered it. But also remember, Paula, you can, if you go to the website, you get a free coach and they'll answer those questions even in more detail. But the thing, all I'm saying to all of you, including you, Paula, this is the only protocol in the world with 10 peer-reviewed published peer-reviewed studies that are in the public domain. Now, to show all of you, you can all go, including you, Paula, you can go to Google and type in the new health conversation. And you're going to see, it's the new, by the way, not new. It's some people had some trouble getting on yesterday because they didn't type in the new. Here's the website. And the only thing on there is a medical proof, including number one, is an exclusive podcast with the number one weight loss nutrition physiologist in the entire world. And he goes, and there's the research studies. So again, Paula, you can go there and actually see the medical studies. We have nothing to hide. We're totally transparent. It's free to go there, and we will not contact any of you if you go there. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you literally get a free coach for the whole time. So how much is the coaching, everybody? Free. How much is the consultation? Free. How much is the coaching? Zero. How much is the consultation? Zero. I have people coming on even after I do this, and they go, how much is the coaching? The coaching's free? Yeah, the coaching's free. We got coached for free. I know this sounds for a lot of you that this is like science fiction or some crazy thing. It's not. It's all backed by The one thing that I'll say, and I'm bulletproof on this, anybody, show me anybody else you're following, whether it's Paula or Ruth or Jay Chow or anybody that showed me anybody you're following that has one shred of medical evidence. And when I'm talking about medical evidence, I'm talking about, here's the qualifier. They have to be peer-reviewed, human trial, medical studies done on human beings, published in one of these big medical journals. Anything else is just speculation. Because you hear all the time, they say, well, we have a scientifically tested ingredient. Yeah, but it's called borrowed science. So here's what they do on these supplements and things you see on TV. When you analyze, yeah, that ingredient is in there, but you need about 1,000 of their capsules to make anything. Like they're touting this stuff like fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Well, you better take about 1,000 of them a day to have any medical. It's all marketing. If what they were talking about worked, they'd have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving what's called efficacy, which kind of is like what you were saying, Paula, about how the detox works. But it's not about, see, for example, Paula, if you were trying to do this with fasting, like water fasting, at about 23 hours, once your body has burned through all the sugar stored in your liver, that's called glycogen, your body will turn to your muscles for fuel. It's not up for debate. You're going to lose lean muscle mass. Well, you lose lean muscle mass on all these diets. But think about it. If you did a water fast, your body, and I'm not against it. There are people doing, religion. So don't get mad at me. I'm just a scientist. I'm telling you what's happening. Yes, you're losing weight, but up to 25 to 40% of the weight you're losing, I don't care whether it's fasting or any of these diets, is your lean muscle mass. It's not up for debate. And when you look at someone, look at this, Paula. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach. That's with no exercise, and she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. She's actually the daughter of a friend of mine. I know this woman. And it's just, and then you look at, this really makes me happy, Mary, 200 pounds in a year, and she's kept it off. 200 pounds. And then we have Janet down here. She lost 100 pounds. She's kept it off for 12 years. 12 years. It almost looks like a different lady, but I know her. I actually know her. But how about that? What she's saying there, she said it took her a year, but she dropped 6 inches off her waist and 3 inches off her neck in 5 days, 13 pounds gone in 11 days. She lost 13 pounds in the first 11 days. You think that excited her to motivate her? But she's kept it off for 12 years. That's what matters. All of these people lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. Now, you certainly can exercise if you want to, but that's also why you get a coach. So we have lots of new people on here. So who else would like to ask me or have me walk them through how I was just about to ask why it's recommended to not eat a couple hours before you sleep. Because did I explain? If not, NC, I'm going to explain to you right now. The reason for it is that in order to turn on the mechanism, it's called autophagy, your body has to all but suspend digestion, right? So let's say you ate within an hour, too close to when you go to sleep. Your body would take some time to digest the food that you've eaten, and you won't turn on the detox mechanism until that digestion has all but slowed down or stopped. That's the reason. Does that make sense to you? I'm just telling you from a medical perspective. And so what they were able to do in these The reason no food on those 48 hours, and they're actually called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. These foods, and a lot of them are actually, they come in a liquid form. You either make them as a tea or drink them in water or just the nutrients themselves. Almost no involvement with digestion. In other words, the body's able to completely use them with very little interference from basically they don't have to be digested. So the body then is able to turn on this mechanism called autophagy. And it's not an opinion on my part. They have the medical proof, herbicides, pesticides, Scotch-Guard, Teflon. Interesting enough, at night, the autophagy has never been shown to remove toxins from the body. It removes things like dead cells. That's really primarily what it's doing, the autophagy. But this is not really even autophagy. It's really intermittent nutritional fasting, when they have the medical proof that it's removing the chemicals from your body. Fascinating stuff, but it's absolutely real. It makes sleeping so many people that complain about insomnia. You have to understand this is a health system. I mean, let me read to you all what they found in just 30 days, okay? So, number one, fat went down 11%. Well, it didn't go down, it shrank by 11%. Muscle mass increased 6 to 9%. Blood sugar dropped 6.2%. The need for insulin, this is unbelievable, it dropped 41% in 30 days. The diabetics on this, their doctors had to cut their meds by 50%. Cholesterol was down 15%. Bad cholesterol down 13%. Triglycerides dropped 24%. Hunger dropped 41%. And what they found is that most women lost a whole dress size in a week. Most men lost 2 to 4 inches off their waist in a week. Here's something you probably didn't understand. When you increase your waist circumference size, you actually shrink your brain. This is major research out of like Oxford and England, et cetera. So, again, being overweight is doing a lot more to us than just normal, making us unhealthy, raising blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides. You have to all understand now, we have the medical evidence saying, wait a minute, we got to do something different. That's why Johns Hopkins Medical School, I have it right here, study predicts obesity apocalypse. They use the word apocalypse. In 4 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese. Now, maybe that makes you mad. I hope it does, because hopefully maybe it'll motivate you to do something different. I'm going to tell you right now, anybody, put on here a diet you think works long term, and I probably have the medical proof that it doesn't. And the sad part is, when you look at these big studies, there's another one here. Yeah, this one. It was a study, the grand myth of traditional diets, a devastating cycle of failure and false promises. Now, what they did in this study, which was 12 months, a year, they looked at groups of diet types. Here's what they looked at: low-fat diets, low-carb diets, keto diets, carnivore diets, macro counting, and time-restricted eating. These are the actual numbers that they found. Now, this was, if it was low-fat, they looked at a whole bunch of low-fat diets, right? If it was low-carb, a whole bunch of low-carb keto diets, et cetera, right? What they found is that after 12 months, some of these diets only produced 11 pounds weight loss in a year. That's not even a pound a month. The most amount of weight loss was about 16 pounds. And you take something like time-restricted eating, which is this big thing, you don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8. People only lost 10 to 14 pounds in a year on all these diets, whether it was low-fat, low-carb, keto, carnivore, macro, or time-restricted. 25 to 40% of the pounds they lost was lean muscle mass. This is not my opinion, everybody. Who's telling you this? Of the influences you're following, who's telling you this? Did you even know that? And do you know when you lose lean muscle, it's not that it just slows down your metabolism, it slows down your own immune system. So you're literally making yourself much more vulnerable to disease and infections and all kinds of other things by lowering your own immune system. But there's not enough fuel. See, your body doesn't run on calories. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. It's the most ridiculous thing we keep perpetuating this fraud. And I get people in here who really want to argue with me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Really? Well, I wrote 4 best-selling books, some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on public broadcasting. I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America. And I did over 1,500 live lectures at universities and hospitals and towns around the world. They even flew me to China. I was a keynote at Autism One in Chicago 2 years in a row. I'm not telling you to brag, but I'm not just some guy. I spent 23 years of my life doing this. None of it's my research. These researchers are going to change the world for all of you. Again, a 987. We just adjust your schedule. We have UPS drivers. We've got FedEx pilots. Yeah, absolutely. We have nurses that work the night shift, so we can accommodate that, no problem. Why it's recommended don't eat a couple. Okay, I answered that for you. Does it make sleeping easy? Yes. I've lost 100 pounds 3 times of my own the weight I have left is mostly loose skin. Yeah, that's the problem, Fancy. Amazing. So grateful for this information. Look, the greatest thing any of you could do for yourselves. Go to the website. It's free to go there. Look at Visit the New Health Conversation. Go see the medical proof. I don't want you to believe me. But when you're talking about peer-reviewed human trial medical studies published in the biggest medical journals in the world, it's called irrefutable medical proof. No drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study, and then it has to be published. Because the last line of defense are the journals. Their job is to discredit what you're trying to prove. That's what peer review means. The journal doesn't analyze it. They said, okay, if we're going to publish this, we're sending it out to other world-class experts to do the investigation. Let me tell you how stringent. This one study that was published in Nature Communications, one of the top medical journals in the world. To tell you how exclusive it is, let's say they get 500 submissions that want to get published. They'll look at 100. And out of the 100, they publish 7. So to get published in Nature Communications, you've gone through the gauntlet. And that study had nothing to do with weight loss. The title of the study was about your gut. Let me read it to you. The title was Gut Microbiome Remodeling and Metabolic Profile Improves Drastically in Response to Protein Pacing and Intermittent Nutritional Fasting. You have to heal your gut if you're really going to be able to lose weight and keep it off long term. We've got all these things going on: leaky gut, Crohn's, colitis, irritable bowel, acid reflux, gut issues. Because our food, you have to understand, when you eat a processed food, it is so difficult for your body to break it down. It's not natural. And we're creating all these gut issues that at least 40 to 50% of you have. And what that causes is something called malabsorption, meaning the nutrition that you think you're getting from the food, it's not being broken down completely. Maybe it's at 50 or 60% out of 100. I want it to be 100%. So you're kidding yourselves, you know. It's like you're pouring gas. You think you're filling up your tank, and only there's a hole in your tank, and so the gas is dripping out. So you're not getting all the fuel you need. Okay, leaving now so I can go to the website. Okay, great, Sarah. How about take BPC 150 and heal all of those issues? The problem with that, Matt, there's not one shred of medical evidence. If you can show me, I'm cool. Show me a peer-reviewed human trial medical study proving the BPC 157 does anything what you're claiming. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I've been doing this 23 years. Unless you have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, what you're claiming is not, there's no evidence. And maybe you do have it. And if I have time afterwards, I'll go look it up, BPC-157. See, that's the problem. People are making all these claims, but where's the medical proof? Do you know, for example, Matt, if there are peer-reviewed human trial studies on the BPC? See, the difference is I'm holding in my hand the actual medical study published in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the world, on the gut microbiome, not a speculation that, oh, this will improve your gut health. Says who? Now, maybe you have it. If you do, that's great. But are you aware? Then send me the study, Matt. If you have the study, send it to me. And again, do you know, is it a peer-reviewed human trial medical study? What medical journal is it published in, Matt, first of all? What journal is it published in? That's very important because the journals are ranked, there's about 157 of them, and obviously if you're published in the 150th, it's not the same as being published in the #1 journal because the scrutiny goes way, way up. So, yes, Russia, Germany started human trials long ago. But again, no, where are they published, Matt? Where are they published? Russia, Germany started human trials. Great, but where are the published, what medical journals are they published in? That's what matters. So do you have peer-reviewed human trial studies? What journals? No, Matt, you're missing the point. Where is the published? I don't care how many trials they have. Unless it's published in one of these, it means 0. I know, I went through this for 22 years. We had unbelievable thousands, tens of thousands, 1 million people more that went through this. It didn't mean it meant zero in the medical world. I'm not against it. I'm just saying to you, can you show me where is it published? That's all. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. BPC-157. I'll try and, after I get off here, I'll see and look that up. I can't possibly know everything, and maybe it's great, but I'm relying, but you have to still understand, it does nothing to remove chemicals from your body. That's what you have to understand. This is a whole health system. It lowers blood pressure and blood sugar and cholesterol and triglycerides. It removes toxins from the body, lowers inflammation. It's all proven. No BPP's 157 is not going to cause you to lose weight. And healing your gut is one part of this. But you've got to be able to also remove the chemicals from your body. Now you have me curious. I promise I'm going to go and look at the BPC-157, but if it's not published, all right, including here in the US, doctors are currently having great results. I don't care about that. I'm not trying to be difficult. Unless they have peer-reviewed human trial studies, it means zero in the medical world. Zero. Maybe it works. Maybe they have that. I'll be pleasantly surprised if they do. That's great on your part, on anybody's part. But you have to understand it doesn't do what this does. Nothing does. There's never been such extensive research done on a health nutrition program in the world, ever done. And it was done by they're rated in the whole damn world, the top weight loss nutrition physiologists. And a physiologist studies what? The nutrients once they enter the body. A whole different genre. I promise I'll go look at it because now you have my curiosity. And I hope that it does it would be great. Listen, we need as many solutions as we can possibly come up with. We're in desperate shape. But again, BPC 157 isn't going to do anything for the obesity epidemic that we have. It's a much, much bigger threat. Granted, the gut is contributing to that, but it's only a small part of it. The toxins are a much, much bigger part of it. Okay, just my last question. Aside from banana, what other foods can help with endurance for someone who balks? NC Angel. Well, the main thing that you need are the amino acids inside the proteins. And the biggest problem with that, people are really misled on that, NC Angel, about there's two different things. When you ingest protein, there's what's called absorption. That means what percentage of the protein is absorbed into the body, but that doesn't mean a damn thing. The only thing your body cares about is what's called the utilization of the amino acids. There are 9 essential amino acids and 11 non-essential. There are a total of 20 amino acids. And here's the problem. Let's say you're getting ready to box or whatever, and you're eating healthy, and you do steak, chicken, liver, fish. The absorption is about 95%, but the utilization is only 30%. These researchers found a protein source where the utilization of the proteins was 91%. That's why, for example, NC Archangel, she lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. There's nothing better you could ever do for yourself. I work with UFC fighters, boxers, marathoners, all kinds of people. That the key is that you can always maintain your lean muscle mass or increase it, especially in something like boxing where you want. But also one of the things that helps you is the detox. Also, it increases your flitch, your quick reaction. You know, flitch, is that it? Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I know what it means. I'm struggling. I think that's what it's called. So anyway, this would really help your performance. Also, it does massive things to reduce lactic acid. So if you're working on it a lot, obviously, that's why the recovery on this. See, the whole keto workout is your recovery. You probably know that. It's not the workout itself. The main thing is how quickly can you recover and how are you recovering? Because you want to be able to rebuild those muscle fibers and things in the body. And the only way that occurs is there's one of the 9 essential amino acids. It's called leucine. You probably know about it, or you can go look it up. So imagine with the best steak, chicken, liver, fish, whatever you're doing in your diet, you're getting 30% of all 20 amino acids, including leucine, versus these people got 91% of all 20 amino acids, including leucine. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand why this could be so much more effective for you in terms of your performance? Does that make sense? Matt, cool. Chains. I'm not. Matt, what are you talking about? Chains. I don't understand. Mousy, for my physical fitness. Yeah, go do it. Just. I'm sorry, Matt. What are you talking about when you're talking about chains? Maybe I'm not understanding what you're asking me. Go ahead, Matt, type it. Now you really have me curious. So it's BC 157, correct, Matt? Because it's scrolled up now, so I can't see your original comment. And I don't even have a pen here. But I'll remember it. I'll look it up once we get offline here, okay? Peptides or amino acid chains anywhere from 2 to... Yeah, of course, Matt, I know that. But the thing that's most important about that, Matt, is the utilization of the amino acid. That's the only thing that matters. So imagine your steak, chicken, liver, fish, you're at about 30%. That was developed, a test in Europe about 10 years ago called net nitrogen utilization. Well, they found a protein source here where that utilization was 91%. That's why these people that weren't allowed to exercise gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. So, I mean, that's, again, something that's really pretty startling. And when people work out on this, it's insane. I should show that to all of you, right? So look at this. This is a young man, 43 years old, a surfer living in Costa Rica, works out 7 days a week. Look at day 1, and then look at when it says day 5, that's the morning of day 5, that's 4 days in. Day 12, the morning of day 12, that's 11 days. Look at that transformation. He didn't do this to lose weight. He did it to detoxify and look at the muscle development in just 11 days. That, again, is those amino acids working well, in particular, leucine at 91%. Look at that. Or this gentleman here who did need to lose weight and exercise, he lost 50 pounds in 4 months. That's inaccurate because he actually gained 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. But look at the change in his body composition, right? I mean, I work with one of my friends is one of the top fitness trainers in Hollywood. He started at 12% body fat, and in 14 days he went from 12% body fat to 5% body fat and gained 5 pounds of lean muscle. It's not a diet. It doesn't work like that. It has nothing to do. The weight loss is kind of like the booby prize. That's the way at the end of the day. It really comes down to a question of what percentage of your lean muscle mass can you increase again. And if you exercise, he exercised. But all the other people that I've showed you, like Kristen, they were not allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Got it? So Carl, it's not my process. So Carl, let me explain it to you because I'll show you another Curtis. Look at this, Carl. He lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides 242 to 124 in a month. So here's what he did. This was invented not by me, but by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They're rated the #1 in the entire world, okay? And what they had done, they'd done 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people, and one thing they proved, no diet ever had people lose weight and keep it off. 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. And the problem with it was that all diets are based on some form of counting calories, which is a code word for reducing the quantity of food you're consuming, which reduces the quantity of the only thing your body cares about is not calories, but nutrition. So what they did, they put together a food list based on one principle, or two principles. One, we're going to give you less food, but we're going to pick foods with the only criteria is high levels of nutrition. Got it? So they put a food list together that he got, but only 30% of the food he actually bought. So take last month, whatever he spent on food, he's only spending 30% this month. Proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. And he got serving sizes, no calorie counting on this at all. Matt, got it? Regenerate issues. Okay, hold on. Carl, let me introduce Carl, and then Matt, I'll get back to you in just a moment, I promise. So anyway, who was talking to, who was I? Carl. All right, so 30% of what you would buy or consume comes from your grocery store, and you get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. You got it? The other 70% comes from these other researchers who've gone around the world to get nutrients you can't get in your local grocery store. It just doesn't exist. From Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, they represented huge amounts of nutrition in small quantities of food. Then they invented, based on nutrition now, a new way of eating where he had 5 days a week. He was having 4 meals a day. So he started with these, what the researchers have called the world's most perfect meals from a nutritional standpoint. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner from these world's most exotic, perfect meals. 2 days a week, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic, these world's most perfect meals, but this time he ate 8 times a day. You can see he was a diabetic. Look at his A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides 242 to 124. That's in 30 days. No insulin spikes. But here's what made it so unique. This was the most comprehensive study ever done on diet, nutrition, health. And they did massive medical evaluations. They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, body composition, lean muscle mass, enzymes, etc. And what they found, number one, and the reason this works, it's not a diet, it's a detox. And they proved that this, through the blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, was removing chemicals from the body. You got it? The second thing that they proved, this was lowering inflammation, which we all suffer from. It came down 25% in a month. No supplement, drug, whatever has ever shown that in history, ever. Okay, the third thing was that the need for insulin in his, we can see it there, but it came down 41% in a month, and the doctors cut his meds by 50% in 30 days. The other part about this is, look at his stomach. That's a result of the detox with no exercise, no sit-ups, and he's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago, Carl. How does that sound? Pretty good? So anyway, to make a long story short, this, you can go to see it there, visit the New Health Conversation. That's the website, Carl. You can go and see the medical proof. There's nothing on that website except the medical proof. I'll show it to you right now. Here's the website. And what I would suggest, Matt, you can go there and scroll down. There's a box where you can say, hey, I want to have a conversation with Peter. But the reason I like you to go to the website, the only thing on there, Matt, is the medical proof, including an interview with the #1, see their podcast, with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, and #3, the actual medical studies. So before we have a conversation, just so you understand what's available, and that may generate even more questions, I'm more than happy to do that with you. But that website is free for everybody to go to. As a matter of fact, we won't, Matt, if you went there, we won't contact you. We don't do that. It's only we want people to see the medical proof, then they can get, not normally, because I'm a horrible coach. I'd be the worst coach on the planet because I'm so busy and I'm doing 4 or 5 of these lives a day, anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. So I have very little bandwidth, but I do a lot of medical consultations. I'm not a doctor. I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. I appeared 20 times on public broadcasting, interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, and did over 1,500 live lectures in universities and towns and hospitals. And I appeared twice, a keynote at Autism One in Chicago, the largest autism conference in the world. So I have a lot of experience. And I'm definitely the researcher of the researchers. And that's why I would tell you that for 21 and a half or 22 years of my career, all these before and afters, it meant, that's why I was telling you about the BC-157. I hope it does have peer-reviewed studies. We need more of that. The problem is we have so much hype out there and there's nothing behind any of it. They're all just claims. They're empty claims, right? So anyway, hopefully that makes sense to you, Matt. There's the website, the New Health Conversation. It's free to go there. We won't contact you. The only way we'll contact you is if you scroll down and you decide you want to coach. And the coaching is 100% free. How much is the coaching, everybody? Free. What's the cost? It's $0. How much for a consultation? $0. Does that make sense to everybody? So who else would like to ask me a question now? Let me see. Oh, yeah, I need to leave in just a few minutes. Direct message me if you are a physician would like to have a conversation. Carl, thanks. So you know what to say. So Matt, that's the best way to reach me, because unfortunately on TikTok, they banned me from DMs. So, but you can reach me through the New Health Conversation for sure. I'd love to have a conversation with you. But again, what I would say, Matt, it would make more sense for you to go and look at the medical proof first, including that interview with look, he's worked with Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Olympians and power lifters, so they're not against exercise. But they eliminated exercise in this case, because otherwise people would have said, well, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No, it wasn't. So anyway, would anybody else like to ask me a question before we close? And Matt, am I right? Was it BC-157? Because I am going to go there and look it up. Because it scrolled up on me and I don't know how to go. Maybe I can go back up and find it. Let me just see here. Hold on. Hold on just a second here. Let's see. BPC. Okay. BPC 157. Okay. I got it now, Matt. BPC 157. Great. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you all for being with us today, and I hope you will all go to the New Health Conversation. If you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. There's no gimmicks, there's nothing to buy. We don't sell anything. There's no products here. This is food and a completely different way of eating the food that produced, like you see, she lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, despite losing 21.2 pounds and 38.75 inches in a month. All right, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye for now. So BPC-157, I'm going to look at it right now. Thanks, everybody.